Hey there, ladies and gents, what up? It is your favorite Asian robot right here, and hopefully your favorite DarkTide partner. Now, what I'm here to show you guys is the new Force Swords that have just been released, and honestly, I'm having a blast with them. Okay, what I'm going to start by doing is showing you that my feats have been selected specifically. Now, this is not a build, this is for testing. I have not selected Warp Unleash, so we just get the raw, damage figures and all that. No inner like I've just put inner tranquility on, cerebral lacerations, which doesn't impact on anything. Kinetic shield, no impact. Warp battery, no impact because we won't be getting any charges. All right, warp charges, kinetic barrage, and quietude. Okay, so nothing should affect this test. Now, the Force Swords are the Deimos Mark IV, the Illisi Mk V, and the Obscurus Mark II. The original Obscurus Mark II has also been buffed, but it's nowhere near as awesome as the others. Well, actually, I shouldn't say it's not nearly as awesome. What I'll say is that it's basically the basic Force Sword. Right? So if you're using it, this is the basic one. This is the basic one that y'all use when you want to just do something in general. If you want both a bit of Horde cleave, all right, as well as the ability to take out single targets, then this is the one you use, Obscurus. Okay. Now let's go into the two more specialized Force Swords. Starting with the Illisi. The Illisi is the cleaving Force Sword. This one is best used with the Surge Staff because basically what it does is, although it doesn't look like it, it basically feels like a gigantic two-handed sword because the range on it is pretty fantastic. All right, like so. Cleaves the whole horde. All right, that's right in front of you. The range, like I said, is good, but it functions very terribly against any elite targets, like so. No matter how much you hit the target, it's really not going to do very much to them. All right. You can charge it up and hit it as part of the horde, but it's really not going to do too much. So single target damage, probably not great on this one. All right, but even the light attacks are cleaving, so if you really get in trouble, you can just sort of start going ham with this and it will cleave through hordes. All right, not as much range as the heavy swing style, okay? And if you charge it up and use a light attack, all right, keep this in mind, it generally only hits one target. Not much cleave on it, okay? It does not have the same kind of range that the wide swing has, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, the light attack is okay if you're in a panic, but the heavy swing is where it's at. Once you get some Slaughterer power-ups, pretty much everything in the horde is going to die. So you just sort of get used to cleaving through things with this. Generally, like, this is what it's supposed to be used for, all right? But you're not going to be able to do much against Ragers, Specials, all that. Even if I were to showcase that to you right now, you'll just see that it's just not very effective. Unless you get a headshot, then sure. And it can do fairly well against Maniac armor, but it kind of does badly against pretty much everything else. So, and this is with 5 Slaughterer stacks, so my power is drastically increased. All right, just keep that in mind. It's not going to be so effective against the Maulers, those in flak armor, stuff like that. Okay, so that's the first thing to take into account. Next is the piercing sword. Okay, the piercing sword is freaking ridiculous, and let me show you why. Okay, first of all, you got to understand the attack pattern with this. The stab does an obscene amount of damage, all right, and the second heavy attack is another stab. So you can end up doing like, you can end up going like stab crazy and stab again, then stab and stab again. If you happen to hit a weak spot with the stab, even uncharged, all right, it does a fantastic amount of damage. Light stab, 500, 919. All right. So, and once you have some Slaughterer power-ups, do you see that? One shot. Okay. So just understand that this thing is kind of ridiculous. All right. You want to learn the 2-stab piercer combo. As you saw, that did, assuming it's a weak spot hit, it did about 2,000. Even non-weak spot is close to 1,000. So just be aware of this. Hit, and then pierce, reset, hit, and then pierce, reset. Oh, Shit, the reset, sorry, the reset affects that combo. My bad. I need to find a way to reset this thing. But, or, well, I guess you could just stop attacking, but it doesn't really... Yeah, stop attacking for a second, it'll reset just fine. So yeah, this is the greatest part about it. Now, the force charge attack, for some weird reason, it feels like it's weaker than the Obscurus Mark II. I'm just gonna verify that fact really quickly. I don't know why it feels like it's weaker. Let me just check that. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it's about the same, but slightly weaker, I would say, than the Obscurus, or well, just about the same, because that one I had a Slaughterer power up as well. So, yeah, the light hit is just like so. The heavy hit is not that much better. So even if you're charging up for it, it's pretty much the same as what you'd get out of the Obscurus Mark II. But the greatest value in this thing is just the stab. The stab and then the heavy stab. And if you panic as well, right? And you just do like a whole bunch of light attacks, that the stab and the slashes do fair enough damage. All right. So if you ever find yourself in a horde situation, although this is supposed to be the single target sword, you'll notice that it functions pretty much the same as a dueling sword, and it's fairly fast as well. So feel free to use it almost like a dueling sword and aim for the head. Once you get your slaughter power stacks up, it pretty much cleaves through hordes just as well. It doesn't have like the same kind of horde clearing potential as the Illisi, but it can be pretty fantastic in this regard. Now, against armored targets, you probably just want to use a quick light attack stab, or if you can, just a nice little heavy like so. All right, even if you don't directly hit the head, this works fairly well. Now this is all damnation, but keep in mind that I'm not using Warp Unleashed. If I were to use Warp Unleashed, all right, you could get a lot of extra value out of this. All right, so you can, and the stab range is fairly long as well, which is what I like about it. The animation doesn't seem to be as well long as the Obscurus Mark II, but I'm not actually timing it. I'm just going by feeling. All right, but yeah, it just doesn't seem to deal as much damage. So what I prefer to do is where I can avoid charging it, or if I don't need to, I'll just go for the stabs. Like if I can, I'll just go for the opening stabs, then maybe charge up after that, go for another one, go for another one, and then I'll go for stabs again. So there's a variety of ways you can use this, but that's what the Deimos is for. It basically feels like a better version of the Force Sword. Now some may disagree with me on this, but for me, I generally enjoy this one more than the normal Force Sword. It just feels like the first target is always a guaranteed kill. So I love the stab. I just love the stab on it. It's just fantastic. And the Twin Piercer, the 2 stabs, like this move is my bread and butter when I use this thing. So yeah, this is what I like about it. As for, are any of the Force Swords better than any other? I think it's all now a matter of personal taste. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. The Obscurus Mark II is a generalist, all right? So if you're sticking with the original Mark II, the one that you know very well, it's a generalist, all right? The Illisi is all about cleaving blows with the heavy attacks, all right? It does dog shit single target damage. And the Deimos, yeah, the light attack for some reason is more damage than the heavy attack, which is hilarious. That's because it's the first one in the chain. So looking at it this way, the second attack, which is the stab, if I'm not wrong, does a lot more than the first. The first one is a strike down, but the second one is actually a stab. So this description is incorrect. But yeah, the double piercer is pretty much the way to go. All right. So the Deimos is now the Deimos I've been actually enjoying on the Brigadus because it gives me that single target decimation. I also find it very useful on the Void Strike where the Void Strike is taking care of the hordes. So I use this to pierce single targets that may come up to me and that I cannot brain burst in time. So that's where I've been finding its niche. But again, it's up to you. Like if you genuinely feel comfortable using a non-force weapon, those options are still absolutely viable. don't forget that. You don't have to use a Force Sword. Okay, but I've really been enjoying this one. So that is basically it for the new Force Swords. I hope you enjoy them. I'll be making some builds with these just to showcase how I'm using them over the next few days. Now, I'm going to be pretty busy with the Diablo 4 open beta this weekend, but, you know, I will try and pump out these videos as much as I possibly can. So please do look forward to that. Okay, thank you all very much. You've been a wonderful audience. And now, before I go, I'm just going to give my thanks to the channel members that make these videos possible. All right, so I would like to give my thanks to the following individuals. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see my channel grow, you want to support me, like, share, subscribe, and, you know, donations, super chats, all those kinds of support goes a long way to helping me make content, but that one's all optional. Starting right at the top, Death Dawning 982 at Plus Ultra. We've got Jerry Fast, Rogue Assassin, Oh Mr. Green Buff, Zach MG at Prestige. Thank you guys so much. For our honored robots, we've got Bob John, Jammer Boy, Joey Danzason, Underpaid Enlisted Soldier, A. Ripley, The Mighty Zeno, Triple D326, Darverse, Cordova 2182, Maze, Che D12, I'm Peeps, Syed Assad Bakari, Pringle Bread, Tuan Nguyen, Valorous, Coda CMF, Kami SMH, Conrad C, Nate the Great, Corey Ryu, Benjamin Savage, Lady Neo, and Greasy Burger. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all of our cool and weird bots as well. You guys are wonderful. Love you all. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning because there's so much more slaughtering to do. See you then. All right? And enjoy the new Force Swords. They are fantastic.